MLB, NFL, and NBA. Not all at the same time, of course, but we've got them. All sports, 24/7, ESPN 850, WKNR.
ESPN 850 WKNR. I'm Aaron Goldhammer. Emmett Golden here. 216-578-0850. Our phone number if you want to jump in. Matt on Twitter, Emmett, says that he would boo me the same way he booed the Iron Sheik when he was younger.
Really?
And that I'm doing something right.
I want to boo Tony Cartagena for Taylor Swift bumper music. Now, that's a booable offense right there, right? Everybody needs to boo Tony Cartagena right now.
Emmett, Taylor Swift is.
Are you guys listening
popular.
to the words of the song? I was playing.
Shake it off.
Tony likes doing that. You know,
haters
like
gonna hate
the theme music for whatever we're talking about. If you're just joining us, I got booed last night when I was introduced at the 30 for 30 premiere. Loudest boo of the night. We were there. Believeland is the name of the film. It'll screen on ESPN on May the 14th on ESPN TV. And I got booed last night with my mom and my wife, and my mom was upset about it and maybe a little bit embarrassed. Look, I took it as a sign of love. Daryl says they booed Hammer because he's made himself the heel of Cleveland, plain and simple. Chris says, sometimes I want to punch you through the radio, but getting booed in that setting is ludicrous. You handled it very well. Chuck says, you grew on me like mold. I hate you so much that I like you now.
All right, and then Michael also jumps in and says that he was at the screening and he felt it was rude and tacky. You've been around Cleveland sports long enough to be one of us. And all right, if people still want to do like all the outsider thing, you're not here. I think people tend to accept Gerard. Gerard's not from Cleveland.
Yeah, but Gerard doesn't play up his not Clevelandness in the same way that I choose to. And in that way, I kind of agree with this email from Michael. Listen, Aaron, although I felt bad about what happened to you yesterday, a bunch of idiots booing, I could tell you this. Saturday, while in my car, I was listening to ESPN Sports Radio, and I heard a guy just spanking Cleveland and laughing about it with two females on ESPN National Radio. I was angry at this total clown and didn't recognize the voice. Well, as it turns out, it was you, little buddy. So when you play with fire, you get burnt.
What was going on this Saturday?
I was on with Sarah Spain and Katie Fagan. And
it's one of my favorites.
On their ESPN W show. It's a really good show.
The Trifecta.
The Trifecta, yeah, is the name of it. Thank you, Tony. On ESPN Radio. And so they had me on to talk a little RG3 and LeBron. And I went at it from the way that I go at a lot of things. Guys, you have to understand, I'm paid by Craig Karmazin to give strong opinions on the air. And I understand that when I do that, I'm going to upset some people. It comes with the territory. I'm not here to make everybody try to like me. I'm here to try to do something interesting and compelling. And if you lose some like for me, or you want to boo me, I respect your opinion to choose to not like me.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you should have to like me. That's a ridiculous thing to think.
People don't. People don't at all. I'm talking about time and place. Right? I'm talking about time and place. It's something that when you become an adult, you learn that there's a time and a place for everything. When we are working, bring it on. Okay? Bring it on. Boo us, cheer us, love us, hate us. That's what we're here for. Exactly what we're here for. We're here to elicit emotion. Love us or hate us, that's what we're here for. When we are not working, we're people just like you. Give us the same type of respect that you would want us to give to you. Now, if you see someone in public and they're booing you and they're all like, that's rude. How would people feel if we saw someone in public and we were like, oh, get out of my face. I'm a big star. Like, people would be like, what, you jerk?
It's
like,
obnoxious.
What? Yeah, exactly. Like, what? So give everybody, all of us, the same respect you want us to give you when we're not working.
I didn't take the booze that way, though. Coach Ham with an interesting point on Twitter. He says, the difference between me and Donovan or Kenny Rhoda is professionalism. You would never know that they weren't from Cleveland. Well, first of all, that's not true, Coach Ham, because I remember the days where Kenny was on our air, and now he does a show down in Canton. And Kenny's a friend, and I remember the days when Kenny would throw Super Bowl parties for the Steelers when they were in the Super Bowl, and it was controversial, and people hated Kenny and WKNR for doing that. The Donovan thing is a little bit different. As I explained, Jim has never had to host a talk show, and if he did now, he hasn't lived in Boston in so long, I don't think he'd get on the air and talk about loving Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Dude, it's me, okay? It's not the not being from Cleveland thing. I get it. It's me. I don't want to lose the Denver in me. It's where I'm from.
You shouldn't.
So many of you are born in Cleveland and you move and you live somewhere else in Chicago or Virginia. We take your calls every day. In Denver, in some cases. And you don't want to lose the Cleveland in you. And yet you're asking me to lose the Denver in me. Sorry, I don't want to do that.
And you shouldn't. Like, there's no reason for that. Nobody should be upset because you're from somewhere else, or that you made fun of Colt McCoy for being small, or, I mean, like, Clevelanders beat up figuratively, on Clevelanders all the time. And it's acceptable. If you say something that's critical of somebody from Cleveland, then it's like you're an outsider. What do you know? To me, it's like ridiculous. I understand all the theatrics of it. I get it. But in public, I'm strictly talking in public. To me, that was the wrong place,
at
wrong
a professional event.
Yes.
I took it as booze of love, but, it did spark certainly a conversation with my mom, my wife, etc. Ellis in Orlando on Twitter says, I take my hat off to you. For you not changing who you are. As a former radio jock, people think it's easy doing what we do, and it's not. Patrick on Twitter says, I love you, Hammer. You're one of us, whether you like it or not, although I still think Elway looks like a horse.
His fronts definitely do kind of remind me of all of that.
Let's see what's doing on the phones here. John is first up. What's up, John? Go ahead, man.
What's up, guys? Aaron, I don't care where you're from. I don't care about your opinions. It's not about that. Like you said, you're paid to give your opinion on there, and whether I like it or not, I respect that. But honestly, dude, you're just not likable, period. It doesn't matter what you do or what you play up. No one's going to like you. I mean, that is what it is, man.
John, I'm not sure that no one is going to like
I
me.
like Aaron. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's fair to say that you probably are never going to like me, which is okay, dude. I respect your opinion, John.
Let me rephrase that. Majority of people don't like you, and that is just what it is. It's not that you're a bad person. It's just you don't present a likable, a like me vibe. Like you're from Denver. Be proud of that, dude. I don't care about that. Dump on Cleveland teams. They've sucked for the past forever. That's okay, but you're just not likable, dude.
Thank you, John. Appreciate the call. Thanks for saying that. Matt on Twitter, somehow I took that as a compliment.
At least he was respectful with it. You know what I'm saying? At least.
Matt on Twitter says, booze of love, that's like saying your wife stabbed you because she loves you. Stop crying.
Some people love hard, man. You never know.
Crimes of passion, guys.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
It was a crime of passion. Joe is next. Hey, Joe, you're on the Golden Boys. Go ahead, man.
Hey, I called yesterday and I was rude to you, and I kept cutting you off. I'm a diehard Browns fan, and the Denver Broncos they get my heart numerous times. And I want to apologize to you because you're a lovely fan, whoever you want me. And I listen to you every day, even though I get aggravated with you. So I just want to say sorry that I was rude.
Joe, I appreciate the apology, but your phone connection's so horrible, I got to let you go. And that's,
he meant well,
that's not being rude and me being unlikable. It's just no one can understand a word that you're saying. 216-578-0850. I got no name online, too. Well, you're up. What's up? You're on the Golden Boys. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. What's going on? Hey, first off, I want to say you are interesting, and it is. But I think the problem is that you come off as kind of like the previous caller said, extremely unlikable. But what happened last night, I think is just classless. If I was there, I would not have booed. But I think that's the problem. I think you talk down to us sometimes.
Thank you.
And you kind of don't respect like the callers and the fans as much as you should.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you like when you'll say like I don't want to break it down, I don't want to get into X and O's too much with you guys. Well, I mean, I don't think you could get into too much, break too much down that we're not going to understand. But you kind of give that opinion off, and you, like I said, you got the likability of like a young Hitler, and sometimes people don't like that.
I've got the likability of a young Hitler?
Yeah, and that was wrong on so many levels as well. Yeah. So what really it boils down to is there are a ton of...
You're right. I don't root for the Buckeyes, and that's the same as gassing 6 million of my people.
Yeah, there are a ton of ignorant people in this world, unfortunately. And I'm disappointed in that. You don't have to like people. Get down how you live, do what you do, that's fine. Everybody should be respectful in public. If you want to tweet some stuff, whatever, do what you want to do. If you want to call in during our show and tell us that you disagree with us or whatever, that's fine. But in public, in a different setting, man, I mean, be a person. You know what I'm saying?
I'm getting a lot of this, you're not a very likable person. Guys, I have a lot of friends. I really do. I've never had really trouble making friends. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people in my private life who like me plenty. Guess what? I don't do this to be liked. I do this to sell windows and bee pollen and to talk about sports. Right. And guess what? We're selling a lot of windows on this show.
Slanging bee pollen all over the country.
Okay? So I don't take it as offensive when you call up here and you say, you're not very likable. I said thank you when you told me that.
Yeah. All right, how about this? Rim says, Caller John nailed it, and Emmett wouldn't like you if you weren't his boss. Aaron, who do I report to?
Keith Williams.
When I need a day off, who do I send that request to?
Keith Williams.
All right, when I have an issue with what's going on at work, who do I go to?
Keith Williams.
Okay. Aaron is not my boss. He is my teammate.
Let's be honest. There's only one real boss in Cleveland, and that is...
LeBron James.
Amen, brother. Ain't no doubt about that.
I want to get more into this. I don't have a likable vibe.
That's not true. C-Town.
I'd like to. Can I buy a more likable vibe?
No. C-Town on Twitter says, I like Hammer. I didn't at first, but now I do. So there it is. So see, people like you.
Brian says, don't sweat it. There are a lot of babies here. Why would anyone not be proud of their hometown? Ryan says, all publicity is good publicity. Never change, Hammer. Never change. When we started the show in the afternoon, I remember asking the fans for advice. And that's the piece of advice I got the most, is don't change. And then people want to have it both ways. Look, I get that the afternoon drive time slot on this radio station is a very coveted position. The history of this station, it's been around for 25 years. It's one of the big stations. And the fact that they gave it to someone who's not from here, who doesn't trumpet up the Browns, Indians, and Cavs, that there's someone on it who doesn't necessarily – that it chaps a lot of people. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, we do have Emmett here who –
right.
but what's is funny the biggest homer ever.
Dude, I'm thinking about a lot of people who have, especially in recent history, who have been in this time slot. I don't know if any of them were from Cleveland. Let's walk down the road. We can start with Rhoda.
Yeah, but they're all
Red guys from Detroit.
But they're all different than me, Emmett, and I get that. Jim Donovan. To use the Jim Donovan example, you would never know that Jim wasn't from Cleveland unless he told you that he was originally from Boston. And one of the things that people love about Jim is that he's taken to Cleveland like it's his home, whereas I have chosen to continue to reiterate on the air all the time that I'm not from here and that I don't want to be from here. I'm actually proud of where I'm from, and I'm happy that it's not here. I mean, not to be a jerk, but I'm totally comfortable in my skin being from Denver. I don't secretly wish that my mom and dad had moved to Fair Lawn before my birth.
If people want – this is the thing I don't understand about sports fans, and this is in general. People only want to listen to the homer side of things. Don't you want like a little something that's going to spice things up a bit? Or do you want to just live in the fantasy world that your teams are great and that Sports Illustrated picks the Indians and that LeBron's a god and that the Browns are turning things around? If you want, there's programming where you can get the massaged, the massage
propaganda
of that. Version. There's programming where you can get that.
Yeah,
it's not here.
But I think most sports talk fans do want both ends of the story. They do want
so
that.
Then wouldn't you want someone who comes in with a non-biased view?
Yo, this is what, and one of the things, Riz, I've heard him say, and I wholeheartedly believe it, vocal minority.
I don't know if it is a minority, Emmett. There were a lot of people in that theater last night, and they all booed.
It wasn't all of Cleveland.
There were a lot of... It was a nice cross-section of Browns Nation.
And what is it called when, is it the group mentality or whatever? What is it called?
Yeah, groupthink.
Yeah, so when one person starts, 10 people start booing, everybody starts booing.
Yeah. And this is no disrespect to you, but Hammer, let's be honest, that place was filled with 3,000 people who are controlled by their sports teams, and we're watching a movie about how pathetic they are.
Oh, dang.
It was. Was it not?
Wow.
What was the movie about? About heartbreak? About how bad?
Wait.
I don't think it was about
Tony, be careful.
Pathetic Clevelanders.
You're starting to sound like Bruce criticizing a movie that he hasn't
I'm
seen.
not criticizing the movie. I'm criticizing the people who are criticizing you for not liking their teams that have historically sucked.
The movie is not about that. The movie is not about what you said it was about.
But I'm trying to defend you. Why you get mad at me?
Right.
I'm just saying in general.
I'm trying to defend the fans that booed because it didn't really bother me very much.
Don't defend the fans that booed. Who cares about the fans that booed?
They can do whatever they want, Tony. As long as they keep, going to corner alley, I don't really care.
Right. Hey, I hear that, and I ain't mad at you for that. You're going to go to corner alley, buy some windows, pop some Jobies.
Kiss my
butt. Buy a hoodie footy before you go purchase the golf cart and all of that.
Where is Aaron right now?
I'm at corner alley. Come hang out. We're watching the game. Best place in town to watch a game is at corner alley. Be there for all the fandemonium of the basketball playoffs. And we've got big games Saturday night and Monday night in the quote-unquote basketball playoffs. Also, opening day in baseball is coming on Monday. You're looking for a great place to either watch the game, tailgate, hang out. Corner Alley is it. Best place in town to go. They have incredible food, tons of HD flat screen TVs, and it's a comfortable game-watching experience. Also, the bowling is awesome. They have bourbon tastings. They know how to throw an entertaining night for you and your friends. Newly renovated. Check them out. If you haven't been recently, you will love it. Corner Alley, East 4th and Euclid, corneralley.com. That's corneralley.com. It's Hammer and Emmett. We'll be back after this. What a deal this week my guys at Universal Windows Direct have. Bill and Mike, they're the best. Couple guys from Fairview Park started an incredible business that has grown into one of the top home remodeling companies in the entire country. For their brand new home effect, call my guys at Universal for their free in-home estimate now, and for every window you buy, Emmett, you get the next one free. It's their magical buy one, get one offer that they do usually in the spring, but they don't do it for long and they don't do it often. So that means this has to be the week that you make the call. If your windows are pre-1990 windows, chances are they may need to be replaced. If they're pre-1950 windows, they definitely need to be replaced. And Universal has tons of styles and options for you to choose from. They're made very high quality. You know, some of these window companies, they offer these deals and I laugh. Because basically you're buying a little sheet of plexiglass with some wood around it, and it's a horrible quality window. If you're going to go and make the window purchase, and windows, this is a good deal, but windows aren't cheap. You want to get quality. You don't buy them often. You don't buy new windows every year. You don't buy new windows 5 times a year. So when you go and get them, you want to make sure you get them right, and you also get good value. That's what Universal Windows is all about. That's how Bill and Mike have built their business from square one to the big dog, which is what they are now. 216-518-8900, universalwindowsdirect.com. 216-518-8900, universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows. Buy one, get one, 0% financing for 36 months. Last night was the Believeland premiere, ESPN's new 30 for 30 on Cleveland. It premieres May 14th on ESPN. It's at the Film Festival over the course of the next week or so with a number of other screenings. I think they're all sold out or on standby, but you can check out the Film Festival website for more information.
I heard they were all to the point where standing room only now. Even it's tough to even get that.
So everyone wants to go and see it, and I was a part of the project, and the director shouted me out. Really appreciated it. Andy Billman, who's become a good friend of mine, last night up when he was on the podium saying give some thank yous.
Yeah, really good dude.
Mentioned my name, Emmett, and the entire crowd booed. So we're asking why, and look, for me, it wasn't that big of a deal. It comes with the territory of what we do, and there are only a few people in the world that have to deal with this: wrestlers, athletes, and me, basically, in Cleveland, are the three people who get booed like that.
But Aaron, even with wrestlers, all right, when they leave the arena and people see them in public, they don't go like, boo! No, they boo them when they walk out, because that's the job.
I guess I'm in a whole separate territory. Athletes also, they get booed on the road, then they get to go home and they get cheered.
Right, and then they go to the club and they get VIP love and groupies. Like, that's not, you know what I'm saying?
But for me,
I don't know if you're looking for groupie love.
I've gotten used to it. The one other thing I wanted to say, I hope that our office, and that includes the marketing team, sales, and especially management, and including our CEO, Craig Karmazin, appreciates that that's not easy. Sitting there between your mom and your wife and having thousands of people boo you is not an easy thing to do. No. And I do it because I think sharing my own unique voice and perspective is entertaining and important, and I think it can help generate revenue for our bottom line. But it is not easy. And sometimes I think Craig, and some of the other members of the management team think it's easy, or they make it out as if it is easy. You know why they think that? Because they've never had to actually go through it once. Yeah. So I just hope they respect it. I don't know if they do, but I hope they do.
I mean, whether they've been through it or not, like, I respect it because I've seen it. And I usually don't get hooked, but I'm here to tell you, brother, if I went through half of what you went through, like, I would get hook, line, and sinker. You know, I'm here to tell you.
They like to make it out like I don't have thick skin, and I've got the thickest skin in our
got
company's
elephant
history,
skin.
And then some.
I don't know if elephants have thick skin, but
right. You know, I could take something like that and laugh it off. And we're talking about it because I thought it was interesting, and you had a reaction to it.
Yes.
And then I had to deal with the collateral damage of my mom wanting to take me on a plane back to Denver, trying to tell me to quit my job last night, my wife being upset by it. I can laugh it off. But when the other members of my family and my life get involved in this thing, that's where it gets interesting. Let's see. Who's next? Dennis in Brooklyn is on the Golden Boys. Hey, Dennis.
Thank you.
What's up, Dennis?
Where you at, Dennis?
Hey, fellas. How's it going?
What are you up to, Dennis? What are you doing?
I'm just finishing work. Hey, on the subject of you, sir, okay, I respect that you're from Denver and that you represent, okay? That's not the issue. Me, personally, okay, listening to you on the Really Big Show, and then I still listen to you guys now, you just come off to be a little arrogant and pompous, that you're better than other people. And I don't really want you talking football. Aaron, I don't want you talking football. You were a figure skater. You never even played football. So that's where it's like, man, when you start talking football, and then I have a take, and then you hang up on me before I even get to my point, I'm like, damn it, why did he hang up on me? I didn't even get to my point. You do that all the time to other callers, not just me.
Dennis, I'm sorry that I hang up on you. I'll try to get better at that as I get older and probably more mature. I know a lot about sports, Dennis, so don't play the whole figure skater thing. That's ridiculous. You can say that I've been wrong about some stuff, but anybody who does this is going to be wrong about things. I've been right about plenty. If you want to go to the scoreboard.
I was wrong this afternoon.
But Dennis, I wanted to hold you on just because I wanted. Can you give me a specific example of a time that I've been quote unquote pompous or arrogant, and you think it's been uncalled for?
Oh man, where do I begin? I mean, just. I know I can't give you a specific. No, I cannot do that. But just going back over time.
Thanks for the call, Dennis.
Yeah. he didn't see that coming. You did. Come on, Dennis. You didn't see that coming.
Sorry. I had to.
I knew exactly what you were doing as soon as you asked that question.
John in Strongsville. Hey, John. What's new?
Good afternoon, fellas. A quick shout out to that intern. He's a good dude. But Hammer, I got 3 reasons why I'm going to defend you. All right, man.
Okay.
First off, you always tell it how it is, and that's a good thing because like Tony C was saying, a lot of people just want to hear the Cavs are the greatest thing in the world and the Indians are going to win the World Series. You tell the truth, and if the Browns are going to suck, you tell it. So I like that. Number 2, it's just you have a great show. It's entertaining. You're a good host, and I listen to radio all day long. You're a great host, and so I appreciate that. And number 3. I know, even not being from here, when the Cavs win that championship in June, you'll be cheering just as loud as anybody else in this city, and I appreciate that.
John, love you. Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Tim is in California. What's up, Tim?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Can I ask you a question? You stream on the ESPN radio app, or are you on ESPNCleveland.com? How are you listening to us out there in Cali?
I'm listening through the app.
Through the app. ESPN Radio or TuneIn?
ESPN Radio.
Sweet. Yeah, it's a great app. Download it now for your iPhone or your Android. Go ahead. What's your take, Tim?
Yeah, from an outsider's point of view, I would like to say, I quite enjoy your take on a few things. You're honest, but I think the whole show is pretty much like that. You got the home base from Emmett, and then you got the voice of reason from Tony, and then we have you. And I think it's a great, entertaining show, and if they're going to boo you for that, then they shouldn't listen in the first place. And I'm listening all the way from California, so...
Yeah, well, Tim, I appreciate the support, and I appreciate the call. The fact of the matter is, though, that they do listen.
Yeah, that's all that's really...
all that matters.
That is all that... But at the same time, like I said... There's a certain level of respect I think every person in this world owes the next person. And that's to treat people like you want to be treated. Now, if you're cool with like people booing you when, you know what I'm saying, in public, and that's if it's open game for you, then that's fine. But I'm pretty sure that if someone who booed last night, if they went out to dinner with their mom and their wife, and at the table next to them just start going, boo, you suck, Frankie, you stink, Frankie, you shouldn't be an insurance salesman, Frankie, like, I think it would be a little
Well, that's not what they did.
You know what I'm saying?
They didn't come up to me at dinner and start booing me from the next
but
table.
It's still, all right, they did it at a movie theater. You know what I'm saying?
But it was a public event where I was sort of working, guys, I laughed it off. And to me, now it was a big deal to my mom. Again, the thing with this, my mom's sitting right there, and my wife and my teammates and my friends. But, Scott Raab, I think, had a good point. And Scott's a big part of this film. Very smart media guy who I trust and have a tremendous amount of respect for. Mm-hmm. And he said you should wear the fact that they booed with pride because they know who you are and they listen and it's entertainment and you've gotten them to know who you are, which with the amount of options and things that there are to do and listen to. Now, my only concern with that is I want to make sure that people like the show. You know what I'm saying, E? Mm-hmm. You can dislike me and like the show, and I'll be your best friend. Mm-hmm. If you dislike me and because of me you think the show is unlistenable and you don't listen and you don't think it's fun and you don't support our advertising partners, then I got a problem on my hands.
Yeah. I mean, our job is to entertain people and also do a good job for our partners, and I think we do both. And people listen, and I don't care if people, listen because they love us or listen because they hate us. Like, that isn't for me, the point at all. Like, feel how you feel about our show and us on the air. All I'm saying is just be a decent person out in public. That's all. That's my only point. I think people were extremely ignorant last night for booing you at a premiere, at a movie premiere.
It's funny, and I appreciate you coming to my defense today. Yeah, I really do. But I also feel like I take it in stride and laugh it off. Mm-hmm. And I don't need someone to come to my defense. This isn't
right.
This isn't an example of me whining. It's just a conversation about how we got here.
Right.
And whether there's anything that I should do to try to unwind this behemoth that has been built now over 10 years. I've been in Cleveland for 10 years. The 10th anniversary of the Really Big Show is this coming February.
Mm-hmm. Although I do think we're breaking people down here in the afternoons. They're going, yeah, you know what? Aaron isn't that bad.
Maybe. In part because I think the biggest reason for that is you don't play it up.
No, not at all.
In the same way that
I don't even mention it, really. You know what I'm saying? I don't bring up you being from somewhere else. I don't care.
I actually think that my lack of popularity or me getting booed, it's not that I'm not popular and that people don't know the show. It's just that my likability factor is low.
Your Q factor.
No, my Q factor is high.
Right,
but my likability factor is low.
Right.
And I actually think that Riz's likability factor is much higher because of my unlikability on the show for all those years.
Oh, I'm telling you, believe it or not, and Riz is obviously a legend here, but a whole lot of that was built on your back. Please believe that.
Well, a lot more of what I do is built on the back of Riz. No one would know who I was without
him. It goes both ways. But what I'm saying is,
I would have liked to have seen his face when that entire crowd started booing.
Think about if someone else was on that show, would it be as popular as it is today? Probably not.
It's very popular now, and Gerard's on it, and Casey and Matt,
and they do a great job. I'm not saying the show is not as popular as it used to be or anything like that. What I'm saying is it had to get to the point to where it was to let you move on and try something different. I'm saying I'm not sure it would have been as popular as it was without you. That's basically what I'm getting down to.
216-578-0850. We're going to talk some sports at some point today. Lines, though, are just everybody wants to throw in their 2 cents here.
I will also, at some point today, I need to find who stole my dang on candy, man.
Yeah. You weren't happy.
Somebody jacked me for my candy yesterday.
What did they steal?
A bag of Nestle's Crunch.
A whole bag
of Reese's cups and Twix.
You know it wasn't me.
No, I know, because you'd be dead right now if you tried that.
Someone stole a whole bag of Twix?
There was 3 bags sitting in the bucket, and the 3 bags are gone. All the other stuff is in there.
What kind of man would steal another man's candy?
I don't know. All right. All I know is yesterday when I got home and I went to take the stuff out the car, those 3 bags were missing.
Unbelievable.
Travesty.
You know who was there last night at the screening, and I got to say hi just for a second, is Alex from Northeast Factory Direct.
Nice.
And I had to stop him and say thank you, because I've heard from so many of our fans that have gotten from Alex the name brand high-quality furniture at low prices, and now their place is so much more comfortable to hang out in. It's such a better home. How about people that have redone their kitchens, like my aunt and uncle, Lisa and Randy? They redid their entire kitchen, Emmett, from cabinets from Northeast Factory Direct at West 140th. They've got the best stuff, highest quality at low prices, because they buy direct from the factory, and also because they set up their place warehouse-type atmosphere. There's very low overhead, very low rent, and also very low. They don't heat, the place fancy, and they don't have air conditioning in the warehouse, and they don't have fancy salespeople and a fancy sales floor. And then they pass the savings on to you. Check them out at northeastfactorydirect.com. northeastfactorydirect.com. Custom pieces ordered for you, delivered. It's not a club. You don't have to be a member of it. Check them out at northeastfactorydirect.com. They have a lot more furniture available there than they could fit in the warehouse. Write down the number. Ask them about it when you go into the store. northeastfactorydirect.com. That is northeastfactorydirect.com. West 140th, Cleveland, Curtis Boulevard, East Lake. We'll be back after this. Stay with us.
she did. She wouldn't be on the phone right now trying to get up there.
Folks, it was in the mid-60s this week, and that means golf season right around the corner. Give you a chance to win flight, lodging, and golf provided by Emmett, our friends at Myrtle Beach Golf Holiday. It is the golf capital of the world at Myrtle Beach. The Invitational, May 13th to the 16th. Go to ESPNClevelandContest.com. Register for your chance to win a spot. Represent the best city in the world, Cleveland, Ohio, against ESPN Chicago, ESPN Philly, ESPN Pittsburgh during a once-in-a-lifetime weekend. Winners will be announced on the air the week of April 11th. Again, it's ESPNClevelandContest.com. Register for the ESPN Myrtle Beach Invitational. It's brought to you by Myrtle Beach Golf Holiday. Myrtle Beach, the golf capital of the world. I got booed last night, 30 for 30 premiere, when I got a shout-out from the director in the pre-film, and it was the loudest boo of the night. In the film, you've got John Elway, Art Modell, you've got LeBron, and the
You
decision.
can stop there at Art Modell.
I got booed louder than Art Modell.
Which, I'm extremely disappointed in everybody that was in it.
Much
louder.
Come
on, man.
I took the Browns away.
Y'all madder at Aaron than you are Art Modell?
I guess.
How ridiculous is that? That is crazy.
You know what's crazy? I love Cleveland. I do.
Right,
I've lived here for 10 years. Guys, I have opportunities. I got an opportunity right now to explore the idea of leaving Cleveland.
Right.
Right now, at this second, in my email inbox is an opportunity to leave.
Was it